Hey everyone, God bless you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Welcome to another segment of Church on Monday, y'all. Super excited for you guys to be here today. So right now at this very moment, I want you guys to do me a huge favor. Those who are here, please send this link to somebody. Um, Send it via text message, send it, share it on Facebook, share it on your Instagram. You can post a link in your bio, ask people to click the bio, share it everywhere, please. um let's get this, take some time. I'm gonna give you guys a couple of minutes so you guys can send this video to someone. Maybe there's someone that needs to be here with us on Church on Monday tonight. So please, if you know that person, if you remember, if you have them in your mind right now, please remind them Church on Monday has started and you need to be here. You need to listen. You need to tune in. You need to put, whatever you're doing to the side and tune in to this conversation. A couple of minutes that we have every Monday, 9:15. So right now, do me that favor. Do me that favor, please, if you can. And please take this video and send it to somebody via text. Send it, share it. So I'm gonna give you guys 2 minutes and then we'll start in a couple of minutes. All right, y'all. Thank you guys for those who are tuned in right now to Church on Monday. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for joining. Appreciate y'all. Thank you guys so much. I'm sharing. Right now I'm sending this to a bunch of people I know. So just give me a second. Once we share, we'll be all good. All good to go. All right. Right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for being here, joining me tonight for Church on Monday. I promise you we'll get right into the topic. Right into it. Just sharing. All right. Okay. Welcome to Church on Monday, y'all. Right now we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, so wherever you choose to watch us from, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. It is always an honor, and it's very humbling to be able to have some of your time. I know that you are all busy people. I know it's Monday. I know it's work. The work week just started. You're probably getting home, unwinding from a long day. You probably had a bad day at work. Maybe you had a good day at work. So church, I want church on Monday to be some kind of like a wind down time for you that are listening. If you're home, if you're, putting the kids to bed, whatever you're doing, I hope that this short time that we have can help you during the week. I always say this, that church on Monday is not a day, it's a mindset, it's a perspective. We're gonna take this church on Monday and we're gonna blow it up. You guys who are here first, you guys are the people who are sowing the seeds. Remember this day. Remember what I'm telling you. Church on Monday. What you see now is not what it's gonna be with some time. So give it some time. God has really put this in my heart to create a space where we're breaking down barriers of religion. We're breaking down barriers of those mindsets. We're dealing with church hurt. We're dealing with things, and we're dealing with the root causes of issues. I have received messages online about people who have listened to church on Monday and have received a word that has helped them. I've received messages from people who say, "Man, listen, I was in church, I was hurt. I really dig what you're saying, I really, it's been helping me out." So, you know, everything that God puts in your heart to do, don't doubt it. Do it, do it, do it. There's never a bad time. Right now is the time for you to begin and to walk in the purpose that God has called over your life. So thank you guys for being here, ladies, gentlemen. I'm going back and forth between YouTube and Facebook. All right, so I'm seeing you guys. I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, wherever you choose. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We're going to be talking about a subject, as you can see by the thumbnail: entanglements of the heart. And as you can see, the mood is a little. Usually, I'm a little more, you know, I'm there. It's through the roof, my energy. But I wanna treat this very, very. I want to take my time with this, and I want you guys to really understand this. And I hope that God really uses this and ministers to your life. Every time that I speak on here, every time that I talk on here, I'm not talking just because I want to waste your time. Trust me, I have two kids. I've been up since almost six. I've been up since 6 in the morning. You know, trust me. But when God puts something in my heart to do, and a word, is because it's worked within me first, and I'm hoping that it works with you as well. So, we're gonna be talking about entanglements today. Entanglements of the soul. Entanglements of the soul. Shout out to everybody who's watching on Facebook. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate this. And shout out to everyone watching on YouTube. Appreciate y'all. We have 8 people watching. Uh, there's something that's so powerful about a clean environment. Productivity. When something is clean, when the area is clean, when there's no clutter, when everything is where it needs to be, there's something powerful about that. You feel more productive. You feel at peace. You feel hopeful. Some people feel inspired. You feel like I don't even want to say that word. Tranquility. You feel happiness. Uh, if I have any moms out there, people who love to clean, there's something powerful about things being where they need to be. Because in a sense, when you have a clean environment, you essentially have freedom. Freedom organize when you become organized, and when your environment is organized, you have more freedom, more time to look. You know where things go. You know where things find them. There's nothing more frustrating than waking up in the morning and you cannot find your socks like that. Like and I have a little sock section, but for some reason I think socks have legs, and they literally get up and they walk away and they disappear into a closet that we don't know about. Maybe they all gathered together trying to plot against, those people with stinky feet and things like that. Because for some reason, socks just always go missing. But the reason why I started with this example of a clean environment is because me and my wife, we were watching a series called Hoarders. I don't know if you guys have seen this. And the episode that we saw was so sad to watch. At some point, it was even like frustrating. What we saw in that episode, this woman essentially had packed her home with a bunch of stuff. The kitchen was full of roaches. It was just so. I never knew. I've seen messes, right? I've seen messy things, but I never knew that someone could get to a point where they will literally their home was literally destroyed. Literally, people went to clean up the home and they didn't want to do it. They said, "No, I can't deal with this. This is too much." The roaches was crawling all on them. Like it was a mess. It was a mess. The part here that really stuck out to me the most is that this woman was a counselor. She was a counselor for people who were addicted. She was an addiction counselor. And in that journey of her providing counseling to other people, she did not realize that she herself became addicted to storing things and had lost herself. The and I don't want to use the word crazy because that's not, a really nice word, but the thing here is that many times we are so good at helping others, at supporting others, at being there for others, lending the hand for others. And when we do that sometimes, we neglect ourselves. And what ends up happening is that we don't take a look at what's going on around us, what's going on within us. We don't do any self-check-ins, we don't do any evaluations within us. And we in a sense we start to get entangled with things and we don't even know. If entanglements were easy to spot, I wouldn't be talking about this today. I wouldn't. This would not be a topic that I would talk about. We would talk about church on Monday. We'll talk about something else and hope. But the reason why entanglements are so dangerous, is because the majority of the time, people do not notice when they're being. I don't know if this is a word. My wife says I always make up words here on church on Monday, but that's what it is. We ain't gonna change that. We start to wrap ourselves up in things and we don't notice it. It happens in relationships. It happens with habits. It happens with mentality. It happens with things and people who find themselves in this situation, like this lady who essentially was a hoarder and she was a counselor, did not realize that she was literally living in a nightmare. She could not cook. She could not move. The living room, and she lived in Florida. Nice little spot. Nice little house. She owned the house. Nobody could move around in that house because the space was so crowded that she was just sleeping. The dog was sad. It was just a sad scenario. And when we think about this, this thing that we call entanglements, there's a reason why the Bible constantly reminds us to protect our hearts. And I want to pull up this verse here. And if you're home, you can look it up with me. It's Proverbs 4:23. I'm gonna look it up here. I'm gonna put it on the screen so you guys can follow along with me. Proverbs 4:23. Okay. Let's read the whole verse. Let's get the full chapter up here. You guys ready? If you guys are here, let's get the full chapter up here. Proverbs 4:23. Let's start. Let's start here. Let's start here real quick. All right, here we go. This is a powerful verse, and I feel like we, especially us young people, we gotta really take this into consideration. Really apply it to our lives, man. Verse 23 says, "Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life." I'm gonna put it again. I'm gonna read it again. Guard your heart above all else. Above all else, guard your heart, for it determines the course of your life. So, in a sense, this thing that we call heart, which I want to call it the main database, the main computer, the main, I don't know, the main source of everything. The Bible reminds us to guard our heart. There's a reason why the Bible makes the emphasis for us to guard our heart. Because from the heart comes life, from the heart comes peace, from the heart comes joy, from the heart, everything flows out of your heart. And what ends up happening is that we have so many people who are entangled, who are wrapped up, who are tied up in chains and in bondage. And we need to, as a church, revisit this conversation of possession and demonics and all this stuff and demon this, demon that. Because a lot of entanglements are not demonic possessions. They're literally, sometimes they're experiences that we have. Sometimes there are things that we saw, that we grew up with, that we were taught. For example, an entanglement maybe you struggle with relationships, and that's not a demon. Maybe you come from a dysfunctional home where you never saw how a relationship truly worked, and in that area you are bound. You are, in a sense, wrapped up. You don't know what to do. You are restricted in your in your ability to fully move in freedom in the area of relationships, in the area of finances, in the area of health, in the area of your spiritual connection to God. Not everything is and I want to, like, that's a topic that I'm going to really focus on. Not everything is a demon. Sometimes they're learned behaviors. Sometimes it's cultural. Sometimes you got to relearn some things. Sometimes you got to kind of destroy them old, things that we were, taught and you saw in your home, and you got to kind of relearn these things, because in a sense, those things, you carry them with you in everything else you do. If you're here, let me know. Please let me know. We got four. If you're on Facebook, please say what's up so I know who's here. If you're on YouTube, please say what's up so I know who's here. Uh, this topic is so important for you guys, and if you're watching this today, I believe that you're watching this. God brought you to this video for a reason. Uh, because God is not interested in your shell. God is not interested in your shell. And what I mean by that is the outside. Everybody has their opinion. Everybody has their rules. Every house has their way they run their house, right? I'm not here to punish. If you wear earrings, if not, if you wear this and that, that's on y'all. Whatever you do, if you feel at peace with God, do you, boo boo. Whatever it makes you happy, do you. If you feel like that connects you to God, keep it. Don't change it. Don't mess with the formula, because then you might feel off. But God is not interested in your shell, even though some people need to, in a sense, need that as a boundary, because they know what their weaknesses is. And the reason why God is not interested on your shell is because how we look on the outside is not an indication of what is happening on the inside. We doctors know this, counselors know this, teachers know this. We should all know this. Especially in a country where people constantly take their lives, people constantly overdose, people constantly put on a work face, put on a school face, and they're home and they're dealing with so many things that nobody knows about. What you see on the outside does not tell you what's happening on the inside. You can look healthy on the outside. You can look like you got it all together on the outside. You can look like you are rich on the outside. You can look like you're happy on the outside and be dying and be sick and be broken and be entangled in bondage on the inside. That is if you can understand this, then we're finished here. We can end the church on Monday here. But I want you to understand is that you can. Some people show fake love and they actually hate the other person. Some people can show peace on the outside and be dying of anxiety on the inside. And there's a reason why I started church on Monday is because, in a sense, religion and religion is a system of beliefs, of practices, of tradition that you learn. You learn. Religion teaches behavior. It teaches you to how to play the part, how to look the part, how to speak the part. And mind you, there are changes that we need to make when we come to Christ. I'm not denying that. I'm not saying, come to Christ and keep doing whatever you want. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that before you do that, Jesus comes to uproot first before, you change the wardrobe, before you do whatever you're gonna do, there is an uprooting that has to happen in your life. Because what ends up happening is that if you just change the outside and you learn a behavior without changing what's happening on the inside, what you're doing is that you're taking a rotten wall, you're putting plaster on it, you're painting it, and you're saying it's good. It's like fool's gold. And if you give the wall some time, a couple of months, that wall, even though you painted it, even though you put plaster on it, that wall will begin to break and will begin to return to its original state. Why? Because instead of you removing the entire wall and creating a new wall, you said, I'm going to just patch it up, make it look good, and we'll be good there. So Jesus comes to uproot the entanglements of life, of trauma, of brokenness, of things you've gone through in the past. This is what Jesus came to do. And I believe that he's continuing to do this in the church today. Guys, you don't know how many, listen, I wish I could bring people on so they can like testify. Um, there's so many of us that we have to take some time. We've been in church so long and we've never taken a time to uproot things. And the reason why we haven't done that is because, first of all, we're afraid to identify these entanglements that we have on our hearts. We are afraid to put a name to it, like, hey, hate, betrayal, a dysfunctional family, abandonment. We're afraid to put a name to it, because once we put a name to something, we recognize it's there. Then we have no other choice but to either, ignore it or address it. So I want you to really take this time today. All my people who are watching on Facebook, on YouTube, and really listen to this word. And I hope that it really blesses your life. That before you learn church, before you could get a microphone, before you could preach to others, before you can do everything, whatever it is, there is an uprooting, a detanglement that has to happen in your life. Sometimes I see my wife combing my daughter's hair, and it's, and you see my daughter like going like this, like, my hair, my hair. Detanglement. You gotta detangle that hair, detangle it, and then you put the cream on it. I don't really know too much. I tried doing my daughter's hair, and it was horrible, horrible. I would never do it again. That detanglement then allows for you to do her hair in a good way. So before we learn church and play the part, Jesus is interested in untying those chains that have been put on your life. Maybe listen, some people come from dysfunctional homes where all they heard was negativity. You come into Christ and they tell you, well, God called you to do this, God called you to do that. And you say, okay, I believe that. I believe it. God called me, right? God called me to do this. And you have a calling, right? But you can't flow like you want to flow. And you might be thinking, well, am I possessed? Am I, as a demon or something? Like, what is it? No, it's not that. It's that before you walk into your purpose, there is an untangling that has to happen from that negativity that you heard when you were growing up in that dysfunctional home. It's not a demon. You have to uproot those things. You have to get healing in that area. Otherwise, you'll never be able to walk in the purpose that God's called for you, for your life. And you have so many people who God has called, who have potential, who have a ministry, who have blessings in their hands, and they can't function at 100% because they're constricted, they're tangled, they're tied. Yes, you can be a believer of Christ and be limited in your mobility. That's a word right there, yo. That's a word right there. I had to get myself the button. You can be a believer. You can walk with the gospel and be limited in your ability of to move in what God has called you to do. Why? Because you're entangled. You're tied. You have bondage. And Jesus understands that life comes from your heart. It comes from your soul, from that inner place that nobody knows, that nobody sees. And this is a theme, a common theme for me because I hear it all the time. I see it all the time. Every hit that we take, every mistake that we have made, every broken moment that we have had, every experience that we had, in a sense, creates an entanglement. It creates a wall that we have to work to go through it. For many years, for me, one of my biggest issues was my self-esteem. And you might hear me see me today. I can't believe this, man. Self-esteem. You talk way too much. You got church on Monday. You're a lead pastor of a church. You sing. You this and that. But I struggled with my self-esteem, y'all. That I struggled with my self-esteem. I was walking in the gospel. I was ministering, but I was lacking in my self-esteem. And it was one day I came to the realization that yo, I'm living, I'm in this thing we call church. I'm doing what I need to do, but I'm limited in my mobility. I don't feel like I'm walking 100% in the purpose that God has called me to walk in. And the minute that I recognize that, and in the minute I put a name to it, in the minute I recognize this is the issue, that healing began to happen in my life. It wasn't a demon. I wasn't possessed by a demon. It was just my self-esteem. I didn't have good self-esteem due to experiences. My self-esteem was not good. And by the grace of God, you know, through healing, through a process of untying, I'm free. I walk in freedom. I am who I am. You either, this is me. You either like it or you don't. That's fine. I'm not here to please anyone. I'm here to walk in my purpose, and you might not understand my purpose, but I know from the places that God brought me out of. I know me personally, all the untying that God did in my life. And maybe you need to sit down and say, okay, what are some things that need to come off my life? Because you might be married and you're entangled. You might be financially, getting money, but your bad habits have you limited in your mobility. You might be you really love Christ. You really love God. And there's many people who are watching this program and those who will watch, I believe, that generally love God with all of their heart. And there's nothing more frustrating than loving God and feeling like, yo, what is going on? Like, what's happening? And you go to a service and you feel the same. They put laying hands on you and you feel the same. You speak to people and they give you the little pep talk, yeah, man, faster prayer. You feel the same. That's a frustrating place to be in. That's a place that can really mess you up. And I believe that God put this word on my heart for a reason. For those of you who are watching, who you feel like I love God, but I feel I'm not moving the way I'm supposed to move. I'm walking in my purpose, maybe 50%. Um, what's happening? There is an an untying that needs to happen over your life. The only thing I can do is shed light to what could be happening. From here on, it will be up to you to sit down and take some inventory. Okay, what is it? What were the things that brought me to this point? Identify them, name them. Once you do that, begin to walk in that process of healing. I want you to allow this video to be your call because God knows, He has seen, He has heard, and He's calling out to you. This is a personal invitation to you. Many of the people who watch this video grew up in church, and many people who will watch grew up in church. But because you learned church without uprooting those things in your life, that changed your perspective. And maybe you're no longer in church anymore. Church on Monday is, we're done learning church. We're done with this. We're finished. This is the today is the day where it stops right here. We're done learning church. We're done playing the church. We're done with that. We need more than that. We need more. We need God to come and uproot and restore and take out and break down those walls that we patched up on our own, trying to, pretend like we had it all together. It's over for that. You will never be able to heal if you begin to patch up holes just for the sake of embarrassment. It don't matter. God is God. God is. This video is God putting a spotlight on the areas you need to heal. It's time to allow God to restore us. Our generation, man. Our generation. We have so much potential, but we're broken. We're broken. There's some rebellion in us. And we need God to restore us. We need God to heal our generation from religion, from our mindset. We need healing. Our generation needs healing. Because in a sense, we're living a life constricted. And that's not a life that God wants us to live. Everything that is broken or that was broken in your life, God is not interested in putting it back together. God is interested in picking that up, throwing it away, and making something new. Because if it's broken, regardless of how you heal, in a sense, any little tap, you're going to break again. But when God uproots and restores and reshapes and creates, He creates it in a way that the thing that broke you in the past will no longer be able to break you in the present. It will no longer be able to break you in the future. I don't know if you believe that tonight, but I believe that for those who are watching and those who will watch. Jesus doesn't want to fix it. He wants to make it new. He wants to untie you and make it new. He wants to remove those ropes, those chains from your heart so you can walk in freedom. Whatever those chains are, whether it is trauma, broken heart, depression, anxiety, lack of belief, self-esteem, like I told you guys, maybe even religion, maybe church hurt. I'm not speaking about a system, because systems work for some and they don't work for others. I'm speaking about relationship. A relationship with your creator. You are a daughter and you are a son. Nobody has the right to take that away from you. No religion, no nothing. You are a daughter and you are a son of your creator. And God bless all my people who was here. Johan, Anais, Amanda, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys joining me for my little rant. And on Facebook too. Appreciate y'all. Please share this with somebody. I'm finished here, man. I feel like this is what God gave me. And this is was I want to leave you guys with. Remember, you are a daughter. You are a son. That's your title. That's your title. And as a daughter and as a son of your creator, man, listen, if you allow God to work in your life, listen, y'all, I'm not no pretending. If you really allow him to work and untie you of things that maybe you like, you desire, if you allow God to do it, you will never be the same again. I promise you. You will never, ever be the same again. If you allow him the opportunity to take those things off your life, oof, the sky's the limit, y'all. The sky is the limit. God bless you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me for church on Monday today. It's always, like I said, always an honor to be here. Thank you so much from my church on Monday family. I'm gonna send all you guys a little gift soon, and keep praying for us. Keep praying for um, this thing that God has put on our heart, and you know, please stay tuned. We have a lot of things coming up, a lot of surprises, but I want to leave you guys with this word. Peace out. Really think about it. Take some inventory before you go to sleep. Thank you guys, and see you guys next time here on Church